All right, boys and girls, it's time to learn about writing again. So we're going to continue to talk about our narrative writing. Hopefully, if you've been following along with these videos, then last week you wrote your opening paragraph, you wrote your hook, and then you got your story started. Yesterday, we worked on writing that rising action. We got right up to the climax. We did not get there. We're building that plot, that anticipation for our reader. We got right up to the climax. Again, I'm going to remind you to look back on slide 10 at those expectations, guys. Some people are just writing any old gobbledygook down and calling it a day. This is not the time for that. This is your Super Bowl. This is your time to shine. You got to show me all the vocabulary, all the sentence structure, all the grammar, all the excellent writing techniques you have acquired this year, and you're going to put them to work here, okay? So today, again, we're working on our plot roller coaster. We're clicking up in that rising action. We've gotten there, and now today we're going to cover the climax. So it's beneficial to go back and look at your list of sequential order, where we put things in chronological order. So yesterday, we got in our list, we kind of got up to our climax. And so today we are going to work ahead in our story. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to go back and read what I've already written so I know where I need to pick up. So my story starts with Buzz. Ah, what's happening? Panic flows through my veins. Ouch, Buzz, Yellow Jacket. These are Yellow Jackets swarming on me like a waterfall. That was how it all began. I was walking in the woods on a cool fall afternoon with my two friends, Elizabeth and Robin. We were singing the latest tune from Olivia Newton-John when we saw a hole in the ground. As we walked along, Elizabeth told Robin and me that she was certain it was a chipmunk hole. Robin and I were concerned that it was a snake's hole. Elizabeth debated with us and argued that she knew it was a chipmunk hole because she placed acorns there the other day and now they were gone. Determined to prove us wrong, Elizabeth jammed her foot in the hole. Immediately, my stomach began to turn. I simply knew that a snake was going to pop out at any moment. Suddenly, Elizabeth became tremulous and began shrieking and screaming. Robin and I could see the yellow jackets on the knees of her denim overalls. Not alarmed, Robin and I told Elizabeth to simply move away. Right? That's where we are right now. So now I'm going to move into the next part of my story, continuing on with my action, my rise. We've kind of had our rising action, and now we are getting up to that climactic part of my story. I'm starting a new paragraph. What do I do at the beginning of a new paragraph, boys and girls? What button do I push? Help! Tab, you're exactly right. Tab. Tab makes the perfect indent, right? So I push my tab button, and here we go. All right, remember, I want to include lots of details in this climax part because I want my reader to feel like they're with me, that they can understand what I was feeling in that moment, okay? All right, so then I was engulfed, whoops, in a sea of yellow jackets. They were in my hair and all in my face. I could not open my eyes. Were long. I was squatting and twitching about, trying to shake them off. The more I moved, the more I seemed to be getting done. However, I knew I could not simply stand there, right? Normally, if there's a bee flying around, you just kind of stand still and it goes away. This was not that case. Too many, right? While Robin and I were both screaming, The noise coming from Elizabeth was different. It was terror. I'm going to go back and add the part about seeing them fly out of her jacket here, out of her turtleneck. They flew out of the top of her top. Suddenly, we'll say thousands. Might be a hyperbole, but it sure seems like it. Thousands of yellow jackets poured out of the top of Elizabeth's collar and began to fly about. Suddenly, thousands of yellow jackets poured out of the top of Elizabeth's collar and began to fly about. Then I was engulfed in a sea of yellow jackets. They were in my hair and all in my face. I could not open my eyes for long. I was swatting and twitching about, trying to shake them off. The more I moved, the more I seemed to be getting stung. However, I knew I could not simply stand there. While Robin and I were both screaming, I'll fix that in a minute. The noise coming from Elizabeth was different. It was terror. Tab. I yelled to Robin. What do we do? She replied, run, get her mom. All right, now this might not be the exact conversation. I don't remember this part verbatim, which means word for word, but I know this is about the conversation we had. And in this case, it's okay to kind of make up a little bit of the dialogue here so that your story makes sense. Again, we want to include some dialogue in our story. We don't want the whole story to be dialogue, that gets confusing, but we want some dialogue here, but not too much. Might not be the exact words that were said, but that's okay. We're not trying to sell our story for $1 million. We're not quoting someone famous and trying to make them sound like a bad guy or anything. So it's okay here to kind of work with what you remember, okay? All right. I began to run up the hill to Elizabeth's house as fast as my short, I was really short as a kid, little legs would carry me. I had to get up. Ooh, I'm gonna make that an exclamation point. All right. So here we go. I'm going to go back and just kind of read through this, make sure it all makes sense, and we'll check it from there. Buzz. Ah, what's happening? Panic flows through my veins. Ouch, Buzz, yellow jackets. These are yellow jackets forming on me like a waterfall. That was how it all began. I was walking in the woods on a cool fall afternoon with my two friends, Elizabeth and Robin. We were singing the latest tune from Olivia Newton-John when we saw a hole in the ground. As we walked along, Elizabeth told Robin and me that she was certain it was a chipmunk hole. Robin and I were concerned that it was a snake's hole. Elizabeth debated with us and argued that she knew it was a chipmunk's hole because she placed acorns there the other day and now they were gone. Determined to prove us wrong, Elizabeth jammed her foot in the hole. Immediately, my stomach began to turn. I simply knew that a snake was going to pop out at any moment. Suddenly, Elizabeth became tremulous and began shrieking and screaming. Robin and I could see 2 yellow jackets on her denim overalls. Not alarmed, Robin and I simply told her to move away. Suddenly, thousands of yellow jackets poured out of the top of Elizabeth's collar and began to fly about. Then I was engulfed in a sea of yellow jackets. They were my hair, my face. I could not open my eyes for long. I was swatting and twitching about, trying to shake them off. The more I moved, the more I seemed to be getting stung. However, I knew I could not simply stand there. While Robin and I were both screaming, the noise coming from Elizabeth was different. It was terror. I yelled to Robin, "What do we do?" She replied, "Run, get her mom." I began to run up run up the hill to Elizabeth's house as fast as my short little legs would carry me. I had to get help. And I'm going to stop there for today, boys and girls. That's enough. That's my climax. We're going to talk about going back later and how to improve the climax part of our story, but I've gotten the bulk of it down. You know what happened. Here's the prize today for listening to the whole end of my video. If you stayed till the end today and listened to the video so that you know what the expectations are to follow directions, then you are going to go to insert. You're going to go into images, and you are going to insert a picture. Whoops, I just clicked out of it. You are going to insert a picture of a yellow jacket. And that is how I will know you have listened to today's lesson, right? So you're going to pick a yellow jacket, click insert. You don't want to take up the whole thing, right? So, and that will be our little secret coded message, my way to know that you listened to the whole story, and you will earn extra credit for having done so. So keep up the great work, boys and girls. Y'all have amazing stories to tell. Even in your 9-10 years that you've been alive, you have amazing things that have happened to you, and you have amazing stories to tell. You're all smart, bright students with diverse vocabulary, and you can all write beautifully. So show me what you can do. This is your time to shine. Have a great afternoon, boys and girls. Miss you bunches.